I am Erica with the Phillips Foundation, and I'm here with Darrion from Behind Every Door. Darrion, thank you so much for being here with us today, and thank you so much for sharing your story with Reality Check It and with Dallas Doing Good. It's just so fascinating to hear your background and how it led you to do such impactful work in the community. And I'm excited to be connecting today to learn more about what is going on now at Behind Every Door. What does the day-to-day look like? So let's just start with that question.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Erica, for having me and hosting us on here. I think it's just a privilege and an honor to be with you guys, and just thank you in advance for everything that you've done for us. We don't take it lightly, and the love is received. Day to day behind every door, we're excited and scared. No, I'm joking, but we're excited to reopen our community centers. We've This past week, October 12th, we opened up our community centers mainly for adult activity to start getting our adults back into the community center. But it's we're taking all the safety precautions, and we are ensuring that our numbers are condensed so that social distancing can take place, and people feel safe while they're there. This week, this past Monday, October 19th, which was a very special day for me, by the way, but October 19th, our team reopened for our kiddos. And so what we've done is we've just divided each grade group up. So we'll have our high school group, we'll have our middle school group, we'll have our elementary group, and we opened up for them. And so again, numbers are condensed, temperature checks, and everything that's needed. We have in play, and so that's what's happening with day to day at behind every door at our sites.
That's amazing. And congratulations on navigating all that COVID has brought into our lives. I know it's not easy. So what does programming look like now with the lower numbers and with all of the additional, safety precautions? Does it feel different
Yeah.
for participants, or is it really the same?
Yeah, so what we learned from our community, we implemented a survey that taught us that our community is really in need of addressing the food scarcity, addressing educational needs in regard to helping kids complete their work, and just parents needing support, and just a break, because a lot of our parents are now teachers and chefs, and the whole trajectory of our parents' day-to-day life changed and was impacted through COVID. So from programming, what we do, we're giving our kids meals, we're hanging out with them. It's just mainly touch points, and also we're helping with schoolwork in any way we can. We're serving as tutors, we're serving as just kind of support of encouraging kids to complete their work, because what we don't want to see is our kids get behind because of the failure to complete work. We're partnering with the schools. We're partnering. We're just helping, making sure that they complete their work, and we're also providing a way for them to have a little fun at the same time. So we'll, be ourselves and have some crack jokes and do things like that, play music, and also we'll have the gym open for them, and we'll have other rooms in our facilities open for them, just to have fun and release, because stress is not only felt amongst our parents, but it's also felt with our kids.
Yeah, wow. And
Mhm.
I know you mentioned food insecurity and just needing some respite from being now a teacher in addition to a parent have been a big thing. Um, were those kind of challenges that you were addressing before COVID as well, and now you're addressing them in a bigger way? Or kind of how have you seen the shift there?
Yeah, so these were also um, particular things that we were addressing before. Like, how would you say this, before this time of us reopening in regard to COVID? Um, I think our day to day, although we were addressing it, it wasn't as impactful as it is now through COVID, because the needs have intensified, and as the needs have intensified, um, our work has to intensify as well. And so we've had to channel a lot of our attention towards our parents and helping them. Because another thing that was also presented in the survey was financial concerns. And we actually partnered with Stand Together and Family Independence Initiative, FII, to give out gifts of $500 to families that have been in need. And I think over the time of COVID, we've been able to partner and give out over about $95,000 to parents in our communities. So it's been intensified. It's not something that we did prior to COVID. However, that is something that we've been able to accomplish um, in partnership with our community and stand together. That's just one of many things that has intensified for us.
Wow, it's been really, well, amazing in some ways, but also not surprising in a lot of ways.
Right, right.
Nonprofit community. I think the nonprofit community is just the best sector at
Yeah, I agree.
needs, and so it's not a surprise that they've risen above all of the challenges and really grasped, the lessons learned with a
Hmm.
positive light. Um,
Right.
so now that you've built on your model that you had before in your program model and adapted it for COVID, what's next? How are you going to kind of continue this journey where we're going um, in this next season of Dallas communities?
Absolutely. I think if I can point out one thing, I think COVID, I love the one thing I loved about COVID, it challenged us to get back to just who we were day one. And that started for us with knocking on doors. I mean, in the work of working community centers, the day to day can go so fast that you can actually, although you knock on doors, you don't knock on doors as much as you would like to. And so to be able to knock on doors throughout this season has, man, created so much relational equity with our families, with our kids. I mean, it was just different than just seeing a kid come through the community center every day. And I think it would be crazy of us to not impart that and keep that going. And so that's pretty much what we're centering our theory. We went back and kind of looked at our theory of change and centered engagement and just as one of our main focuses because people during this time they really was just in dire need of just a friend, of relationships, and other things out of that can be birthed. However, just getting back to the root of who behind every door is and the great foundation that that was built off of. So, yeah, I mean, we're trying to finish the year strong currently and continue to weather COVID and weather the I guess second wave that's coming
Mhm.
and just be ready for the adjustment. So right now, we're just keeping it simple. We're just loving on families, be knocking on doors, and inviting them into the community center when available. Ensuring that we're helping out with food, partnering with our partners to give out boxes in addition to feeding kids and families when they come into the center, and helping kids complete the semester strong. And finding ways to have fun and community parties, even though we can't have it inside, maybe having a drive-through celebration. I know that's something that we're doing towards Thanksgiving, where we're giving out, because usually we have our Thanksgiving party. We partner with the five partners in Roseland,
Mhm.
five churches, and it's amazing. We all come together and we serve about 400 families, 400 to 600 families actually a year. And so we can't do that because we can't host everybody in the gym this year. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them drive through and we're going to give out boxes. We're going to have music and we're going to be ourselves and just have a good time.
Mhm.
So,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that. I think we're so focused on the lack of basic necessities right now
Hmm.
that we forget that, you know, poverty, that social asset, that community, that poverty relation
Hmm.
can be the most harmful and hardest to heal from. And so putting that at the center, I think, is just so, so amazing and what needs to be done right now.
Yeah, and this season has allowed us to I'm sorry, this season has allowed us to be um, kind of even the platform. So not only do is our parents dealing with their lives transitioning in the immediate community that we serve, but even when we leave and go home, our lives are the same. We have children, and our lives have completely changed with things going virtual, and so it's allowed us to connect differently. And I think that has been really essential to just us keeping going and keeping the love shared because it's also something that we feel ourselves.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
tell me about what that knocking on doors looks like. That's just fascinating.
Wow. So knocking on doors is as simple as it sounds. It's it's coming out of the community center. We go around, we knock on doors of residents, and we ask them, hey, is there anything you need? Anything we can be, praying for you about? Is there any way we can be supporting you? And then next thing you know, you come around enough, they expect you to come. And so we'll knock on doors, and then sometimes knocking on doors turns into sitting out playing some dominoes with a resident in front of their house. It's so amazing how creative individuals have gotten between COVID starting and where we are now, and just how they bring the fun outside, and just that wow, just that way we just knock on doors and people open their doors and they smile, happy, um, and we're able to even give boxes and get food. I know over the summer we did camp in the neighborhood, and it was a 5 week knocking on doors program actually, because we couldn't bring camp inside the building, so we tried to bring it to their front door. And so we incorporated fun arts and crafts and different things that parents can do with their kids in the spare time, and gave kids an opportunity to have something to do while their parents were at work or working virtually. Um, and it was just amazing just to see the response from that, and also connecting our kids to our YouTube page where we shot videos and had cool projects for them to do and interact with us that way. So, yeah, knocking on doors is just as simple as going to knock on someone's door and just say hi and speak and show love.
Yeah, something that we all need to be doing more of.
It's getting to know your neighbors. It's like, it's something about really, getting to know your neighbors that brings the community together. And so a part of that really quick was when we were giving out the $500 supplements to help, just the relief funds. A part of that was us knocking on doors, but then a part of that was an extension of the neighbor referring another neighbor at some point.
Mm,
And so we were able to kind of, help garner those relational, that relational equity, not only between us and our neighbors, but them and their neighbors as well. So it's trying to, in essence, bring the community together to where we all know each other, and then it has that more village approach to it.
I love it. That's amazing. And something that's so easily lost in culture, you know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
walk inside and never say hi to anyone. Um,
Yeah.
Amazing. So how can the community get involved in your work?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to get involved, only thing you have to do is go on behindeverydoor.org, and you just go and register as a volunteer, and then our volunteer coordinator will reach out to you, and then from there, we'll just assign you to different things. We have some really cool opportunities to, get some things cleaned up, get some things done at our new site, Cedar Crest, which we're super excited about. It's a new site that we're going to be taking over in, I would say, northern Oak Cliff near Roosevelt High School. Huge facility. And so, yeah, that's a way to get involved. And then also we will have opportunities for these particular events that we will be having for people to come serve and for people to come get involved.
That's great. And for individuals who are maybe used to volunteer before COVID, but now they're worried with all of the new safety
Hmm.
measures in place, um, how are they kept safe during volunteering?
Well, during the process, of course, we have a whole COVID protocol now that we have to go through. I think it's just precautionary reasons that we have to go through that. But we go through that. We ensure temperature checks. We ensure everything. We ensure that the individual is safe at all costs, and we also want to ensure that the individual hasn't had COVID or come in contact with anybody. So just to keep everybody safe, we just have a list of precautionary things that we have to go through, and then once we go through that, everything is good to go from there.
That's great.
Yeah.
And is it a good opportunity for families to volunteer as well? Or,
Yeah, especially I would highly recommend the ones that we do outside, the things that we do outside in regard to when we're passing out the food, when we're going door to door. Those are just to keep it safe because it's safer outside than it is inside. So we try to keep our volunteer things outdoors right now, versus actually bringing those things inside.
Yeah, well, that's great. And I'm sure you'll have more volunteer needs as the holidays approach. And
Yeah,
the needs are just, as we mentioned, continuing to grow and grow. So
yeah,
we're excited to do what we can to send more people your way and
mhm,
volunteers and to be involved in your work.
yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to share about, what's coming up for Behind Every Door and the exciting work you're doing?
Yeah, I think for me, I think one of the things that's blessed me over this time that I will share, because it's easy to look at this season and acknowledge this season as one of the tougher seasons we've ever had, especially in regard to the pandemic. And I think for Behind Every Door, when our residents looked at us, when our family, we call them family, when our family looked at us and they said, "You guys could have left, but you guys chose to be here." The fact that you were here was just enough for us. I mean, a lot of times, so I share that to say a lot of times, even in the nonprofit sector, we like to think that it's our hands that people appreciate the most, and so we always find another way to extend our hand. Um, but in this case, I truly believe that it was presence that really brought about the heart impact and the relational impact, not only on our family in our communities, but on our hearts too, because we all needed it, and no one's absent of this pandemic. So um, that's probably the thing I would love to share. And so when you think about impact, um, I feel like it's really a true heart impact that's happening not only with our organization and our staff, but even with the people who we're serving.
Wow. Well, I certainly have goosebumps. That's just want to thank you so much for all that you do and all that Behind Every Door does. It's just really incredible that you put the relationships and you show up at the forefront of your work. And I think the nonprofit sector and our community at large has so much to learn from that. And I'm excited to become more involved in your work as well. So thank you so much for sharing and for all that you do.
Thank you, Erica, for having us.
Absolutely.